I'm Ian Dilly.
And I am Michael Sheehan. We are here to give you 4 big storylines leading into the Tour of Flanders. We are also going to give you our personal picks for who is going to win on Sunday. And Ian has been shopping. I think he looks like a local.
The sweatshirt says Belgium, best country in the world.
Yeah, just show it off.
Which we have found to be true during our week covering the races leading into the Flanders Classics. Let's get into our first big storyline, which is the cyclocross stars that are so far dominating the Flanders Classics.
Yeah, cyclocrossers in the Classics. It is a thing that has become so fun to watch. Just today we saw Mathieu van der Poel win his very first World Tour road race, out of 2 mind you, at Tour of Flanders.
Yeah, I mean, these cyclocrossers like to have fun. We saw Mathieu van der Poel throwing wheelies after his win. And, you know, we were getting into why the cyclocross stars, Van Aert, Stybar, Mathieu van der Poel, and not to mention Lucinda Brand, who scored a podium at Tour of Flanders in the women's race as well, are succeeding so much in these Flemish classics. And it seems to be just the handling skills and the acuity throughout these just really intense handling-specific technical races.
Yeah, we have gotten to stand on the side of the road at certain points throughout the past week in these races, and getting to see riders like Mathieu van der Poel just hurl himself through these dusty, sometimes gravelly corners on these really, really small Belgian roads. You can really see how a off-road handling background comes into play, and the riders who have these handling skills, they are just saving little bits of energy around every tiny technical corner that Belgium can throw at them. And at the end of a 4, 5, 6, 7 hour race, that's going to really add up.
Yeah, you're always thinking how you can take a line better, how you can save energy, how you can make up ground on your competitors without pedaling harder. That is the essence of cyclocross, and I feel like we're seeing that play out in these Belgian classics. And it could, I mean, just to go out on a reach here, but it could sort of spark an evolution across all of cycling. If these cyclocross stars are now starting to dominate the spring classics, we will likely, I believe, see more road racers participating in cyclocross during the off-season to sharpen their handling skills.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I am a massive fan of cyclocross, and I'm getting an absolute kick out of seeing the crossover right now. I think it would be wildly entertaining, if nothing else, to see it go the other way. And I think that there is one other reason behind this. I think it shows that the best cyclocross riders in the world are just the best bike riders in the world, honestly. These guys are top of the class bike racers. You put them on really any kind of a bike, and they are going to be exceptional.
Let's get into another rider who is not a noted cyclocross rider, but does have the results to back up being one of the best bike riders in the world, Belgian Greg van Avermaet. This is an Olympic champion, a Tour de France stage winner, Paris-Roubaix winner. Yet, this man from the Flanders region, 34 years old, does not yet have a Tour of Flanders victory to his name. I feel like he has said it is the one thing missing from his results sheet that he wants before he ends his career. Can he get it this year at Flanders?
Far be it from me to call anyone 34 years old. Alejandro Valverde is kind of proving that is not actually that old to be a professional cyclist, but clock is ticking for him, and this is the monkey on Greg van Avermaet's back.
Yeah, he has been second in 2014, third in 2015, and second again in 2017 to Philippe Gilbert. So he has had a lot of close calls at the Tour of Flanders. I think he definitely wants it, but I think he maybe wants it too much. At these races, E3, Omloop, sort of these early season cobbled classics, we've seen him driving the pace, attacking from the front. It's fun to watch as a fan, someone being assertive, but I don't think it's the way you go about winning a bike race.
Yeah, he has been very overly aggressive, and part of the reason is that he is left to fend for himself largely by his CCC team. His team director has come out and said that it is first and foremost kind of a development team. He does not have the support that he had at the now defunct BMC Racing. So Van Avermaet is left to fend for himself a little bit, and there's a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, and this is Van Avermaet's, it's his sort of lot in life at this point. We heard him say that he's just going to have to do it by himself at Flanders, and I think he's got to be prepared to lose this race if he's going to win it. Let's get into the women's racing. The top storyline going in, I think the top favorite for this race is the time trial world champion Annemiek van Vleuten.
Yeah, Annemiek has had a exceptional spring despite the fact that she's only done 3 races. And what makes it really exceptional, if you remember her road race that ended her season last year at the Innsbruck World Championships, she got 7th place with a fractured tibial plateau. She crashed with 90 kilometers to go, basically at the beginning of the race, broke her tibia, and finished the race in 7th place. This set her down a really, really rough offseason. She had a lot of physical therapy. She had no idea what her spring was going to look like. But yeah, fast forward a few months, she has won Strade Bianche. She's been at the front of affairs in every other race. She has 2 other top 10 finishes. I think that she might pull out something miraculous for Tour of Flanders.
Last win in my spring was 2011, so it was very special for me to win in Strade Bianche, and then especially if you know what kind of off-season I had with a broken leg, it's a miracle.
As the attacks start behind her, but there's no doubt about the winner. Annemiek van Vleuten from Mitchelton Scott, 4th place last weekend in very different circumstances over the cobbles of Belgium. She goes 3 places better, takes the win, she can't believe it. Wonderful scenes. Annemiek van Vleuten wins Strade Bianche for the first time in her career.
It's going to be exciting to see what she does in these races, and I think it gets into sort of our next point, which is the overall parity in the Women's World Tour this year. You know, the previous sort of Team Sky, Deceuninck Quickstep of the Women's World Tour field, Boels Dolman, has not had the season that they had in 2018 where they won almost every race in the spring.
But every other team is really having success, and that is something that's really cool and something that I am looking forward to seeing on Sunday play out, is just how many teams have a capable winner and a capable team to back them up at Flanders.
Yeah, I think we really saw that today in the breakaway at Tour of Flanders with just an all-star breakaway, multiple teams in the break, with Van Dijk, Elisa Longo Borghini, Kangan Schramm had 2 riders in there with Cecchini and Katia Nuadoma. Not to mention Van Vleuten. I mean, it's going to be there. I mean, maybe a dozen or more women who can win this Tour of Flanders. It's going to be hard to pick just one. I mean, that's not even CCC Liv Marion Voss's team was not at this tour or at Tour of Flanders, and so it's really going to be a wide open race. And one thing we've been hearing from the racers, both men and women, is that they want a hard, aggressive race. So it's going to be a race that you need to watch from the minute it comes on air.
Absolutely. Let's get into some picks. Who do you think is going to win the men's race?
For the men, I'm going to go with the racer that we have not talked about, Peter Sagan. You know, he is definitely not short on form. We certainly saw that at Gent Wevelgem on Sunday, where he got in the breakaway with 200 kilometers to go. His Bora Hansgrohe team is riding really well. They were helping to drive the breakaway. We saw them come out the back on the first run up the Kemmelberg. And we also saw Postelberger, his teammate, have a great ride at Tour of Flanders. And so I think he will have great team support. I think the thing he's missing is sort of a star to back him up. If he does go out on an early move to stay in that second group. But I think he's hungry, and I also, a little bit of a hot take here, think that he has a bit of a rivalry with Greg Van Avermaet. So the fact that Greg Van Avermaet wants so badly to win Ronde van Vlaanderen is going to motivate Peter Sagan a little bit more to win it himself.
Nothing motivates a bike racer like some spite, if that does exist. I don't know about that. For my race, I am going with the cyclocrosser.
Which one?
Wout van Aert.
You picked Van Aert for E3.
I'm giving. He came second. I'm giving him another chance. I think he earned it.
All right.
Yeah. No. I think it's going to be a cyclocrosser, and all three of them would be a great pick. Van Aert seems to he's been doing a little bit more road than Mathieu van der Poel, and I think that he just has the edge on Van der Poel right now at the distance. And Quick-Step's going to be busy containing a whole lot of riders. Van Aert is very, very capable at putting himself up there in the race, and I trust him to finish it off.
Who are you going with for your underdog?
Tish Benoot.
Okay.
He is very accomplished, very capable rider.
Yeah,
Not necessarily an underdog, but you don't necessarily think of him topping off the likes of Greg Van Avermaet or Peter Sagan at the end of a race like Tour of Flanders. He did come top 10 last year. It would be a huge ride for Tish if he could win a monument, and I think that he has the form after what we've seen so far this spring.
I do think you are forgetting one rider that we have already mentioned in the show, which old guys like myself can relate to, Alejandro Valverde, the reigning world champion. I mean, seeing the swarm around him coming to the start line at Tour of Flanders today was just mind-boggling, and his presence at the Tour of Flanders in and of itself, having a Grand Tour rider at this, monument of the Cobble Classics is exciting, and he is somebody that could actually pull off a win. So there's no betting against him for sure.
One for the old guys. All right. How about the women?
Marianne Vos. She has been riding incredibly well. Spectacular win at Alfredo Binda. And yeah, I mean, she has a strong team with Ashley Millman-Paseo, so that's my pick.
Okay, I am going with the rider that I just spent a lot of time talking about, Annemiek van Vleuten. I would absolutely love to see her take this win after the injury-riddled offseason that she had. I think it would be a magical story, and I'm pulling for her.
For my underdog, I am going with Annika Lengeveld. Incredible ride at Strade Bianche, like one of her first road races. To finish second, I think, and Boels Domen was actually riding for her at that race. The world champion, Anna van der Breggen, was riding for her at Strade Bianche, which shows how much confidence they have in this former mountain bike world champion. Recently won the Cape Epic mountain bike race alongside Anna van der Breggen as her teammate, so obviously coming into this race on good form, is bringing those technical handling skills that you need to succeed at these Cobble Classics.
Fair enough. I, however, am going for, surprise, surprise, a cyclocross racer. Lucinda Brandt. She is definitely on form after Tour of Flanders in her second place just earlier today. Team Sunweb is going into Tour of Flanders with options. They have Corinne Rivera, who, of course, won just 2 years ago. They're going to have cards to play, and I think that Lucinda Brandt is going to be flying just a little bit under the radar. She has not established herself yet as a contender for a monument like Flanders, but she is, I think, on the cusp of a breakout ride on the road.
It's going to be an exciting race. We will see you on Sunday for the recap show.
Yeah, please do tune into the race on FloBikes, and of course we will talk to you about it afterwards.